All right, guys. So I am recording this lesson today. Today we are going to be using something called the TVM Solver. Stands for time value of money, to solve not only problems we've done the last 2 days that we can do by hand, but some new types of problems that we don't quite have the algebra skills for. And then we will primarily be using these TVM solvers to do our problems so that we can do things quickly and do more interesting stuff. Okay? We do need to actually just train you guys on these. Now, I have linked in the news feed, and I have also brought it up. I have a TVM solver. There's many online that actually looks like the one you guys are going to use. The link is there for you guys to use when you're at home doing stuff. I'm going to have it up here so I can mirror what you guys are doing. But I need to train you guys up a bit on these TI Inspires. So first things first, let's say you load one of these up. Let's say you load one of these up. And somebody's been messing around. Somebody put the language to Chinese. Please don't do that or something like that. And you need to reset your calculator. Can you guys have a look on the back? You see how there's like a small little depression and says reset? If you take your pencil tip or a pen tip and you gently depress that button, you guys have an idea what it might do to the calculator? It's going to just reset it for you. Clean slate. Okay? All right. So if somebody was, typing up some inappropriate language, let's say, you could reset it, clean slate. Okay? So might not be a bad idea to do the first thing you come in. All right. Second thing you should know. Do you guys see the top right where it's like the on button also has a house beside it? So if you find yourself kind of wandering around and you're not sure where you are, guess what pressing the button with the house does on it? Takes you back to the home screen. Okay? So very useful. All right. Now, we want to use the TVM solver. It's a finance solver. So I've told you the keystrokes to get there. This is where I might need to tour the room for a second and make sure you all get there. From the home screen, you're going to, go to the calculator. Do you guys see a little image of that, like a calculator? From there, the keystrokes are right here. Menu, finance solver, and you should get to this initial screen. This is where I might have to tour. And as I'm touring, if you're wondering if there's online versions, why are we using these ancient calculators? Well, it's because if I want to do something in class and like mark it, I can have something where you're not on the internet. No, these can't connect to the internet. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to tour around and make sure that everybody can get to that initial finance solver screen. All right, we're back. So let's talk about what these fields mean. For today, as we do different types of problems, we might have to massage what some of these represent. But for today, for when doing our standard compound interest problems, these things are great. N, you don't need to calculate little n and figure out like is it semi-monthly, weekly? You just put in the number of years. I, percentage, is the interest rate per year. You just actually put in the whole percent. The interest rate is 5%, you put in 5. So that's nice. Present value is what we're used to. Future value is what we're used to. Now, one new thing is this PMT. PMT stands for payment. Right now, you guys are doing problems where you make an investment or you borrow money. You wait. Graham, you listening? Right now, you make an investment, you leave it for a long amount of time, and then you take out the money or you pay it back. And there's no regular payments in between. We'll do that tomorrow. So for today, this will always be 0. And I believe on your handout, I just filled that in as 0 for you guys all the time. PPY stands for payments per year. Right now, we aren't making payments at all. So we're going to just leave that as 1 for now. We'll make use of that tomorrow. CPY is where you guys handle whether it's yearly, monthly, weekly, or whatever. So if it's a monthly problem, what do you guys think you'll put in for compounding periods per year, CPY? If it's a monthly problem, you put in 12. If it's a weekly problem, you put in 52. So the idea is you put in all the things you know, and then you scroll to the thing you don't know, and you press enter, and it solves it for you. It's really great. So we'll be able to do these compound interest problems really quickly and efficiently. There is one note for using these we have to be careful of. A time value of money solver keeps track of whether you are giving money away or you're taking in money. Either PV, the present value, or FV must be negative. Negative doesn't mean negative money. Negative would mean you're losing the money. And before you solve, a value must be entered for every variable. So very quickly, if you're doing an investing problem, would you agree when you invest money, you got to actually just give that money away initially? You got to put it in the bank, you got to put it in the stock market, you lose that money initially, right? So when we're doing investing questions, PV is negative because you're going to be giving away that money. But then in the future, you get that money back. You get your investment back with interest. The future value, because you're gaining that money back, is positive. And then when you guys are doing borrowing questions, it's the reverse. When you're borrowing money, initially you actually just get that money. You borrow it, you get that money, your bank account goes up. PV is positive, and it's the FV that's negative. All right. So it's time for us to start doing some problems on the TVM solver. For sure, some of you guys will have a little, like you might get an error message, a syntax error. We'll deal with that as they come, but I think most of you guys should be fine. All right. We're going to do this example two ways. This is a question you guys already know how to do. You borrow $1,000 for a certain amount of time. How much do you have to pay back at the end? We've done many of these. So let's just do it by hand so we know what to expect, and then we'll prove to you guys these things work. We'll get the same answer using the solver. I'm going to I'm not going to like rush as fast as I can, but I think it's reasonable that we start moving a little bit quicker through these guys. So our P is 1,000. We have 5.4%, so 0.054. It is a monthly problem, so we divide by 12. We're just doing this on our standard calculators right now. That should give you a nice decimal. .0045, I believe. 0.0045. And our number of compounding periods. It's 5 years. It's a monthly problem. Again, we've done many of these, so I feel like we don't need to take our time as much. We can just kind of blast through them a bit. Yeah, you guys have literally done tens of these guys. So 1,000 and 1.0045 to the power of 60. And you guys should do it too. Double check. This seems reasonable though. 1,309.17. Anyone else get that? All right, let's give these a spin. So I want to be clear on what I need to see from you guys because if we're just using a calculator to do a problem, it's hard for me to troubleshoot if something goes wrong. So I need you guys, when you're doing a problem, I need you to circle what you're solving for. So we're solving for FV here, the final value. Can you circle that on the screen I provide you on your sheet? And then let's put in the rest of the parameters of our problem. N is the number of years. It's just 5 years. Just put in 5. The interest rate is 5.4%. You just put in 5.4. PV Our present value is 1,000. Now this is an investing question. Sorry, excuse me. This is a borrowing question. So because we're borrowing that money, we'll put in positive 1,000. And for CPY, it is a monthly problem, so we'll put in 12. Let's give this a spin. On your TVM solver, can you enter these guys in? If I can give you guys a tip, there is a tab button on your Inspires. Tab is your friend. Tab is your friend. You can put in 5, press tab. Put in 5.4, press tab. And then you'll tab to future value, press enter. It should spit out the same value. This is our first problem we're doing together, so I might need to do a bit of troubleshooting. I'm going to do the same thing on my TVM solver here. So N is 5, 5.4, PV is 1,000, PV is 1,000. Just leave that as it is, yeah. And PY is 1, is 12. Whoops, a doodle. All right, again, I'm gonna tour around, make sure you're good. The one on the I've linked in the news feed here, I click FV and I get 1,309.17. And I get a negative because it's a borrowing question. I got to pay that back in the end. It's not negative money. All right, I'm going to tour and make sure you're okay and make sure everybody's got it and troubleshoot. So I'm going to pause my recording here. All right, when the one last thing I should put is put in what the TVM solver spat out at me. It spat out negative 1,309.17 because it's a borrowing question. I have to pay that money back at the end. Okay. If you guys are okay, you know what? It doesn't take too long, so let's just do it by hand too. So this is a present value question. Jackie needs to have 2,000 saved up for a new car in 3 years, and she's investing quarterly at 6%. So 0.06 divided by 4, why 4? Because it's quarterly. And 3 years times 4, because it's quarterly. Again, we've been using these formulas for 2 days, so I don't feel too bad about going a bit faster at this point. This question is an investment question. How much does she need to invest now? So let's do it by hand quickly so we know what to expect, and then we'll verify that the TVM solver works. So 1.015 to the power of negative 12. So I got 1,672.77. So I'm expecting the TVM solver to produce the same result. Now, the nice thing about these, you don't have to reset and reload, and you can use the tab button and just change everything to the new stuff. So the tab button is your friend. Let's fill in what we're going to be punching in here. It is 3 years, n equals 3. The interest rate is 6%. You just put in 6. We're solving for PV, circle it. FV, the future value, numerically is 2,000. But so remember, this is an investment problem. Initially, you give away the money. At the end, you get the money back. So we're going to put in positive 2,000 for future value. And then what are you going to put in for CPY, everybody? 4, it's a quarterly problem 4. You pop in your values, you tab to PV and press enter, and it should spit out the same thing we got by hand. I will do the same thing here. 3, 6, was it 6? 2,000 and quarterly. On the computer version, you just click solve for PV and 1672.77. Yeah, we get the same thing. For one last question here, I'm gonna do a tour, flag me down if you didn't get that. I'm gonna pause the recording pretty well. All right. Now this next problem is a bit different. So you guys don't have to write this down, please, but here's our compound interest formula. It solves for A. Yesterday, we rearranged this to solve for P. Can you guys imagine rearranging this to solve for I? It might be a bit challenging because it's buried inside an exponent. Now, it's not impossible, but it's a bit beyond the scope of this course. So because this question is a bit tricky to do by hand, we're going to do it using the TVM solver. In this question, we were looking for an interest rate. Circle it. This question is 1 year, so we put in 1 for capital N. For PV and FV, numerically anyway, we'll have 650 and 850, but I'll tell you, if you put in 650 and 850 like that, it will give you an error message when you press enter. One of them has to be positive, one of them has to be negative. This is a borrowing question. When you borrow money, initially you get it, and then you pay it back in the end, FV would be negative. One of them has to be negative. CPY is 12. And these things are great. We can solve for the interest rate quickly, efficiently, accurately, and this is the expectation for both courses. We'll find interest rates, but we're going to use the TVM solver. So I will do that too. One, 650, 850 negative, and it's monthly. Solve for I. Boom. 27.13. 27.13. All right. So for me, circle what you're solving for. Show me what you're punching in. We'll pop in our 27.13. I think on your assignment, I have you guys do a concluding statement. You guys get 27.13? All right. Again, if you get a tech issue, it's probably an easy fix, but you guys got to let me know. All right. So we can do future value questions, present value questions. We can do a new type of problem where you find an interest rate. We can also do problems where finding how long it will take an investment to grow. So let's do this one. How long would it take? So how long would it take? We're clearly finding the time here, the years, at 2.1% for 50 to grow into 100. If you just enter 50, 100, you'll get an error message. This is an investing question, so PV will be negative 50. We give away 50 initially, we get back 100 in the future, and this is a monthly question. So how long will this take? Give you guys a second to get that in. We are going to do one. This will give you a decimal value. We're just going to talk about how we can get that in years and months, which is not too bad. Okay, here I go. So 2.1, negative 50, grows to 100, and this was a monthly question. Solve for N. Did you guys get 33.04? 33.04? Okay. So we have a little talking point here. 33.04. So it takes about 33.04 years. But the way interest works, it's not continuously being added to your bank account. Like you could just like watch the cents tick up and up and up. At the end of 1 month, interest is added on. And then you wait another month and interest is added on. If I were just to say it takes 33 years to get $50 up to $100, that would be wrong. After 33 years, I don't quite have enough. That extra 0.04 makes a difference. So I want you guys to do this with me so you have a template for what to do in the future. 33 years is given, right? That's the whole part. How many months is 0.04 years? So 0.04, why 0.04? Because that was the extra bit on the end. If you guys multiply that by 12, it's going to give us how many months this is. 0.04 times 12 is 0.48 months. So more specifically, it will take 33 years and 0.48 months to go from $50 to $100. But interest isn't calculated in the middle of the month. It's calculated at the end. So this is what some of you guys might have to get used to. In this specific kind of problem, we actually always round up. We're going to round it up to 1 month. It will take 33 years and 1 month to have our money double. We always round up. In 1 month. And I'll just add in brackets here, round up. So it's just the way interest works in real life. It's not continuously being added. It's added at the end of your compounding period. Always, always, always round up. Okay. We have 32 minutes left. I do have some, oh, the note is done, good. We're gonna get right to our assignment. So hopefully that most of you guys can finish it today or have a little bit to do at home, okay? Because we're moving on tomorrow. We have limited time with the school year left over. We got to keep blazing forward. So let's use our time super well today. YouTube, see you later.